there was like amethyst crystal kind of in the mountains. You could just find it and pick it up off the ground, and there was quartz everywhere, and it just felt like kind of magical. And Inishmore felt very spiritual, the nature aspect to it.
Well, first of all, you look lovely. Don't even worry about that.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And second of all, I'm very excited to talk about this film. I am a big Martin McDonagh fan, and this just is another wonderful entry into his filmography. What about the film really caught your interest to want to be a part of it?
Oh, I was just so excited because I felt like it was one of his plays. One of his early plays that he's done. All the beginning of his career was just Irish plays that were on Broadway. He was actually the first playwright since Shakespeare to have 3 plays on Broadway at the same time. And that was quite a long time ago. So this was like one of his Irish plays, but a movie. So I knew that it was going to reach like way more people because not everybody knows about his plays or got to see his plays. So I thought, oh, this is perfect. This is going to give everyone a chance to see what I think is like what he's really great at, which is the Irish stuff, Irish characters.
I certainly, now that you mention it, I can have that feel. It does have that feel of like a play, and that it's minimal locations and all that stuff. But speaking of that, of the locations, though, I mean, it's gorgeous where you got to film at. What was that like for you getting to explore that area and film around there?
Oh, it was so beautiful. It was 2 islands. It was Achill and Inishmore. And Inishmore was the first one where we shot the scenes with Pádraig and Siobhan in their house together. All that stuff was on in that island with the cow and the donkeys and all the animals in that beautiful part of the world. And then in the other island, then in Achill, was where we shot Brendan, his character's house, that beautiful beach, which, by the way, when you're driving to it and you're coming around the corner, it feels like you're in a James Bond movie and like the baddie lives in, like it was so beautiful, like it's such a beautiful, this beautiful beach. And then also there was like amethyst crystal kind of in the mountains. You could just find it and pick it up off the ground, and there was quartz everywhere, and it just felt like kind of magical. And Inishmore felt very spiritual, the nature aspect to it, for me anyways.
Well, Barry said a very similar sentiment to you. So it seems like multiple people got that feel during this production. Yeah. What was it like then developing your rapport with Colin? Because you two play off of each other so well in every scene that you have together.
Thanks so much. Thank you. Yeah, I wanted those scenes to be so strong too, because there's a lot of them, and I really wanted to do them good. So I knew Colin from a very long time ago. Like my second job ever was this TV show called was it Bally's Angel, I think. I'm blanking. It's that time of the evening. So yeah, and it was a very early on in his career that we were both on this show, and I met him on that. And then we knew each other. Then we did this other movie called Intermission in Ireland, another Irish movie, about 6 years later, maybe. I can't really remember. So I had known him basically. It wasn't my first time meeting him. And so that helped. That was the first thing that kind of helped. I didn't have to get to know him. And then also he is very close with his sister, and I'm very close to my brother. So we both kind of knew what it was like to have a sibling that you were close to and spoke about that. And then we rehearsed the scenes for 2 weeks before filming and discussed a lot of our backstory and stuff about our parents and how the parents died and things like that. So it was kind of, we had a good foundation from where to start our scenes.
Oh, that's wonderful. It's always good to have that history with someone, especially.
Yeah, particularly. Yeah, when somebody's very famous too, you kind of, and you don't know them. It does take a little bit of time to get to know them because, they're just so used to people coming up to them, and there's just all sorts of things you've got to consider. So it was so easy that I already knew him. It was just much more easy to have discussions and to approach him without feeling like you were smothering the person or overstepping a boundary or whatever.
Now, what would you say is the biggest creative challenge for you in this one, getting to the heart of Siobhan?
I wouldn't say challenge, like, because that sounds like it was, it was hard or it was difficult work. Whereas I just like loved all the things I had to discover and do in it. I suppose the grief aspect to her was a little bit sad, like, well, I wouldn't say it was, it was just sad to be doing it because, it's not the nicest things to be thinking about. But the fact that the parents had died, prior to when that Banshee lady comes over, Mrs. McCormick, and says, is it 6 years since your mommy and daddy died, Siobhan? So that the parents died, and so I knew then that like Siobhan had experienced grief and like awful grief, given that both parents had died. And so I was just that was a little bit tricky to kind of play into and sort of a sad side to her to play into. But like, that kind of stuff's my forte, to be honest with you. I see, sadness a lot more, I think, than I see happiness really in the world, most of the time. So that's something I'm quite good at.
Well, you played it up very well in the film. Now how are you feeling coming up to the release? I mean, it's already done rave reviews at festivals, but how are you feeling for the wider release?
I know it's gas, isn't it? It's going to come out tomorrow. I'm only excited because my sister's going to go see it in the cinema tomorrow back in Ireland, because my mother and my other sister went to see it at the premiere. So my sister's the last one to see it. Oh, actually, my father too. I should check, is he going to go see it? So I'm really excited to see, like, just the general public and how they respond to it and what they think of it. And and then I got, like, it's weird because I kind of don't really know what's going to happen then, because I've never had this experience before in my life. So I'm sort of, I don't really know how things are going to, like, how people are going to respond to it or what's going to happen or whatever. But I'm excited. Yeah, it's fun. It's wild, to be honest.
I think people are going to love it. I think it's funny. It's heartbreaking. It's so many great elements that just come together well, as any Martin McDonagh works. So that is all the questions I really had, Kerry. So thank you so much for taking the time to chat.
Oh, that's it. That was so short and sweet. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Have a good rest of your week. And I got fingers crossed for you all this weekend.
Thanks a million. I appreciate it. Bye.